Hi, Edward Unthank here. I'm going to be talking to you today about Agentic, what it actually means in a corporate world. Now, out of the Agentic race, that is to say a race for AI in the Agentic layer of this, in corporate, people are still trying to figure out what the path is. The primary that I've looked at is the most consistent is the core looks something, I'm starting to, at least in my mind, look like a foundation of LangChain. This is one of the older versions, the more technical versions of creating and managing agents. LangChain is agentic management, and it's from Google. It's been the thought leaders for longer than anyone's ever heard of agentic. They've been doing it for a long time. So it's kind of the agentic coordination and visibility um, orchestration. You could call it an orchestration layer if you wanted to. That'd be a description, I suppose. So LangChain, the idea on this is that you can come up with individual agents. Every individual agent can, for example, have its own brain, which is either what large language model it's based upon. And then the LangChain, the whole point on this is that it's turning individual actions into not just kind of a one-shot prompt, but it's compiling multi-steps where there's research and coordination happening on the large language model layer. So for example, you're asking it to do something like um, research this prospect to come up with the best answer for it and a plan and anything else like that. So when you have that kind of large zoomed out view, what you have to do is that high level abstraction goes into a to-do agent. The to-do agent is in charge of orchestrating the steps, researching the steps, and then assigning actions of the doing those individual research steps. It's assigning the to-dos from that to additional layers such as a Claude or whatever other agents that you're building with it. The point on this is it's multi-agent, and it's it's glass box as opposed to the black box. If you just do Claude, you're not going to see all the individual steps. Claude just condenses and flattens all of those into a singular prompt, and you just see that. This is when you're talking about you need to have visibility, transparency into the individual steps that are happening, and then making them repeatable and consistent across these things, as well as analytics. The primary, I think, value of the LangChain is that we have visible analytics. We can see what the chat conversations are, and then we, as the people managing the chats, the agents, can look through and watch for improvements, see what people are asking for that we haven't actually built out sub features to do, and then building them. So out of the ones of the question of which are the ones that are going to win, obviously there's the primary layer, the large language model layer. This is when we're talking about the Claude, we're talking about OpenAI, Gemini, all of the other variations, and they're going to keep on coming out. We're just going to keep on seeing them. And these are going to be the primary layer that we're working with, but there's this second level of abstraction where this is, for example, individual agents. And then we get into a multi-agent world when we're coordinating in something like LangChain. So that's the path forward. The value of this is that a bunch of new companies, everyone's just going to come up with new agents. And these new agents need to be handled, managed, visibility, coordination. And it seems like, in my opinion right now, the best looks like LangChain as a way to do holistic harnessing and management of multiple agents in a way that's going to be pretty and applicable for business to business. The problem with this is very technical. This is a dev approach to the world, and we haven't seen it get to be perfectly business user friendly as opposed to being hardcore into the dev world. But until we find that business level harness, LangChain is basically the best one to do at the moment. It provides you the most flexibility, the most future proofing, as well as solving some core problems about analytics and glass box as opposed to a black box. So there we go. This is the path towards integrating and figuring out what Agentic looks like in your proper corporate company, is putting it into a centralized area, orchestration layer. And it looks like right now, the best that we get for that is LangChain. And then we'll take out every individual company product is going to spin up new agents. You can use them in the actual app that they're doing, or you can figure out how to orchestrate in a larger coordination layer, orchestration layer. And I think it's looking like LangChain is the best answer at this moment. So at Unthank, here to educate you as we go along, figuring out how to do AI, agents, agentic layers, automation, all of these things for marketing, sales, and corporations and business is business. So thanks for sticking in, hearing me through this. I'm going to be talking about a bunch more. Stay tuned.